family. This is, I'm sick right now anyway. I usually don't do a lot of videos on here because I'm kind of new to this. Anyway, I just wanted to say anybody who is new, real new in the Lord, if you're just now starting to pray in your life, or you haven't made that connection yet, or whatever's going on, you haven't been baptized, maybe you just don't know if God's real yet or something like that, just want to encourage you to don't give up. It took me a long time to finally come to terms with God, that He is real. It didn't happen until my 28th birthday, September 3rd, 2012. I was high on meth and heroin and a bunch of pills, and I was drunk, and yeah, man, I was pretty messed up. I couldn't even tell you all the drugs that I was on. I mean, I was on so much back then. I was pretty much taking combinations of drugs just to try and have a, I don't know, not try to have a good time, but trying to just, stay alive. And they were killing me, and I'd done a lot of bad stuff in my life, and anyway, I prayed, and I just broke down one night, and I prayed, and that's when my life began to change. And it's 6 years later now, and I just got saved, about a year, maybe a year and a half ago, a year and a couple months ago. And now it's way different because, sorry, I'm checking the time and stuff, but now it's different because God has showed me, because I'm so slow to learn, God showed me now that I can't do anything my way. Everything I try to do is crooked or messed up or whatever, or it's like God has been speaking to me and saying, look, I have a strict set of rules that you need to abide by, or you're not going to have a life. Like, this is it. Boom, boom, boom. The 10 Commandments and the things that He calls me to do in His Word. And I had a hard time with that not when I got saved this time, because backtrack, about 6 years ago, I got out, and I had a hard time with that because I wanted to still be able to sleep around. I was still excited about getting to sleep around because I was single and fresh out of treatment. I was still, and I didn't know it. I know that now, but I didn't know it then. I didn't want to not smoke cigarettes. I didn't want to change the music I listened to. I didn't want to change my words. I didn't want to not cuss. I wanted to say the F word, and I didn't want to be controlled. I didn't want to do anything, really. But I said I did. But my actions showed that I didn't, and I wasn't ready for this. And I just want to encourage you that if you're trying to come out of a lifelong mess of sin and drugs and sex and just cussing and and just being about everything but God, well, you're in for a ride, because it's not like just a little overnight thing. It's not like I feel like I can say this because it hasn't been an overnight matter for me, and it still isn't even now. It's an everyday thing, you know. It's like how God says, you can't serve two masters, right? Or you're hot or you're cold. Like, he'd rather have you hot or cold than lukewarm. Well, lukewarm basically means sitting on the fence or playing both sides. And I'm glad today that I'm not struggling with that. That's not what goes through my mind. That's not really a big... I mean, in the eyes of God, if I'm lukewarm, that's another thing. But the way I'm looking at it is, this is the most hot for God I've ever been. This is the most I've ever even thought about God. This is the most I've ever wanted to do anything for God. And it's all because He changed my heart and changed, you know, he just changed my heart. You know, my cousin hung himself on black in his garage, and I was in treatment trying to get help for drugs, and man, that messed me up. You know, I wanted to go and do what I always did, but something, I knew better. I was like, you know what, I'm going to die if I keep doing this. I want to live. And, you know, so I'm like, I started talking to God, you know, and praying. And next thing I know, my girlfriend takes off and she's shooting dope again. And she's all freaking out over every little thing, trying to get me to sign up with what she was doing and get involved in the drama and the chaos. And I just wouldn't do it because I knew that I could see it. God let me see what was going on, and I went, no, I want to live. And then my dog got hit by a car, you know, and got killed, and that was upsetting. So those three things right there, which normally in my past life would have knocked me off my square, or it would have been a perfect excuse for me to say, poor me, look, now I can use because my dog got killed in a car accident. You know, he got hit by a car. So I didn't use these excuses anyway. Instead, I looked at it as, that's what's waiting for me if I go back out. It was like God finally woke me up and said, look, you're going to be shooting dope. You're going to be dead. You're going to get hit by a car. You're going to hang yourself. And I was like, whoa. And it just hit me. I'm like, dang, that's my fate. And then on top of that, I've never done anything good in my whole life. So now I'm going to have to go to meet the Creator when I die. And then He's going to say, what have you done for me? And I'm going to say nothing, because I was always high. And I couldn't help anybody. And that's not going to be good. So, God, you know, if you give it time, you know, I know we all want to be important and do these crazy important things. And, you know, we all feel like we go through these feelings, because I have, you know, of wanting to do big scale important stuff, you know, if you're riding for God, but that's not been my experience. My experience has been, He's shown me, you're about this big, and until you're ready, then you can be this big. You know, and that's when He says so. So I've had to learn that too. And anyway, I just hope this video reaches somebody. You know, if you're struggling with God, or the whole God thing, you know, try talking to Him, try praying, you know, because He knows your heart, you know, and that's why I believe that He revealed Himself to me, is because because I really wanted to know. You know, it's kind of like getting to know somebody, like, you know how when you meet somebody, right, and, you know, or somebody meets you or whatever, and you can kind of get that sense that they're just kind of BSing you, you know. You just get that sense that they're kind of BSing you, and you can kind of see it from a mile away. They're just talking just to talk, right? They're just pretending to want to get to know you or pretending to be your friend. But then the second that something gets tough, boom, they're gone, or whatever. That's what I'm talking about, is God, you know, all-knowing. He obviously knows when you really don't want to know Him, and when you're just trying to know Him, like right now, just for you, so you can know. You know, I think that's kind of been my experience. Is He knows when I'm being fake, and He knows when. He just knows when I'm being fake. He knows when I'm coming at Him with the real me and my real issues and problems and sin that I want to talk to Him about. And He can tell the difference, and, you know, He'll help me if I'm sincere, is what I've noticed. And, you know, He knows what real surrender is. I feel like He knows when I'm cornered, and I know that I'm not getting out of it without Him. And He knows that I'm being real when I call on Him to get me out of that corner or that dark place. And He'll help me out of there because I'm sincere. And I'm calling on Him, and I'm not going, hey, but I could drink this beer first, and then I'll talk to you, God. You know, that'll help me, nudge me out of here. And then you can do the rest. I'm pretty sure you can tell the difference or whatever. But, yeah, man. It's hard, I know that. It's hard to think about it. You know, it's big. It's a big thing to grasp. You know, God is so big, and I'm just happy right now. Like, He's so big, He's so great. He brought me from a lifetime of drug addiction and dereliction and straight stuff that I don't even really want to talk about on here. Crazy stuff. I was living like that forever, and I was not in a gang. Like a lot of friends I have, and a lot of people I know were in gangs and got involved in all that kind of stuff. But I mean, I did a lot of dumb stuff and did a lot of drugs. I was one of those people that stayed high like all the time. Like, I had to be high every second of every day, and drink as much as possible. And I always had pills in my pocket, or weed, or freaking pipes, or crank, or whatever, or freaking just always had drugs on me. Always. And it was like I had to have them or I wasn't right. And now I'm sitting here almost 28 months with nothing. No booze, no drugs. And I know this ain't me. This is not normally how I get down. It's only through the grace of God that I've been able to stay clean and sober this long. I know that for sure, because I used to just get high all the time. I was always doing drugs like smoking crack or something, or whatever. Just something, you know, just doing crazy stuff. Scraping freaking meth bombs just to get a hit, you know, stealing the little pinner cigarette butts out of butt cans, you know, and smoking them down to the freaking filters, and just, I was just a junkie, man. I was straight up just crazy. I'd do any drug you put in front of me. You know, and looking back, I see it was a big problem for me. But you know, that's how Satan wants to mask it, that it ain't that bad, you know, you really don't have a problem. But looking back now, God's shown me, you know, I praise Him for giving me the eyes to see what I really was, you know, and how it was really happening and going down. I used to be that person that would just drink and party all night and do drugs, and then, you know, show up to work hungover and sleeping in the boss's driveways in my car, and, you know, setting the alarm and waking up 2 minutes before work starts and pretending I just got there, you know, when I've been sleeping in his driveway forever, and weird stuff like that. Just always borrowing a $20 bill and running around in a big circle, paying it back, and borrowing a 20 from every 100 people, and doing these big circles of just peeling and, you know, trading and buying and selling, and just doing all this crazy stuff, and always paying the people back, but always being that person that would just borrow money and do things for this and that. And I could never see how bad I was, you know, until God showed it to me that, you know, that's the kind of person I was. I was just one of them people, you know. I knew so many people that it was easy, but you know, there was a lot of lies and a lot of people I hurt, you know, and I got people on drugs, and gave people their first hard drugs, you know, a lot, you know, and some of them are still strung out right now. That's not cool, and God has shown me that too, that's not right. And so I just want to praise God on this channel. I just want to tell you that, you know, if you're hooked on drugs or alcohol and you think that you can't change, well, you're wrong. That's not true. And it's taken me 6 years to get completely away from drugs and alcohol, you know. I've been trying to do this for 6 years, you know, and at first I couldn't recognize God, Christ, Holy Spirit, like, all connected. I couldn't understand any of that, and you know, it took the Holy Spirit to hit me for me to realize that there was more going on than just saying, oh, there's God up there and there's Jesus over here who died for my sins. Yeah, I acknowledge that. Great. It took a while for me to understand that there was more going on. You know, I had to be completely broken to see. And, you know, so if you're one of those people and you feel like you are completely broken and there is no hope, I'm here to tell you that there is hope. And there is hope. He's real. He does want to help you, you know. I never thought that I could be helped. And today, God has shown me different than what I thought, you know. He's shown me more than I ever knew in such a short period of time. Yeah. Anyway, that's my message today to anybody who might hear this or might be listening. You know, you don't have to keep doing drugs. You know, and it's not the truth. It'll kill you, and worse. So, you know, give your life over to God while you still have time, because you don't know how much time you have. You have no idea. And people, we want to act like we do, especially when we're on drugs. We like to try and put that thought off, like, that can't happen to me because I'm You know, when you're on drugs, you feel like, tomorrow I'm going to change my life. Tomorrow I'm going to get off these drugs. Tomorrow I'm going to be a good person. I'm going to, you're doing these bad things and you're like, I'm going to get it right, and you always got that, and you have these bunch of these breakdown moments, where you start crying and you get a moment of clarity, and then you kill it off again with some more dope and some more booze, only to go on another run that keeps going and going and going for years. Yeah, don't mess around with those moments where you get a clear vision of what needs to be done, because you don't know how long you got here. He's in control of that. So, yeah, it's not something to play around with. Anyway, so I thank God. I want to thank God because He's shown me that time is precious, and I don't have, I'm not going to die when I think I'm going to die. That's what God has shown me. That ultimately it's not up to me. And He knew all along, and I don't. So that's the one I need to be talking to, is Him. Anyway, if you got anything out of this message, right on. If you didn't, watch it again. Anyway, God's Gang 1000, over and out.